Hello, APCSA students. All right, this video is going to be on for loops. So you have to watch this and get ready to count. 1, 2, 3, 4 loops. I was so proud when I found that. All right, so for loops are going to allow us to repeat code the same way that while loops do. So let's go ahead and recall our while loop syntax and what we've used our while loop for. This year, reading from a file would be something you could go look into extra. But the other things, we were definitely displaying sets of values in a range. We verified user input and we used while loops to run our program multiple times. So here's an example of a while loop, and so you can stop and pause the video and look at the code and see if you can imagine what the output would be from this code. You should be able to do that at this point, do some tracing. And so what this code is doing, so after you pause, figure it out. And when you come back, so it is displaying the powers of 6 up to 6 to the 10th. So num is going to get 6 and counter is going to increment from 1 all the way up and including 10. So this type of loop has a initial value like this counter at 1. That counter is incrementing by 1 or by some value, and then when we stop the loop, it's based on that same counter. So we're using the counter in the loop. Maybe we don't need to use the counter in the loop body, but this counter is controlling the looping process. So this type of pattern where you initialize a value, you change it by some amount, and the whole loop is driven by that value is what a for loop does. It kind of condenses all of that into one header statement. So for the for loop, those same pieces from that other example all get put in the header. So the initialization of counter to 1, incrementing the counter by some amount, and the question asking that drives the loop. So the format, the flow of this is that the same as the while loop, we first initialize the counter to 1. The second thing we do is we ask the question, is counter less than or equal to 10? And if that is true, we're going to go inside of our loop and execute the loop body, in this case printing out a power of 6. And then we're going to jump back up to the header and do the incrementation part. And that can be a plus plus, it can be a plus equal to, you can multiply, divide, whatever. You're changing the variable that you are checking in your for loop. So after that, we continue with this sort of 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4 pattern. You go back to 2, not to 1. 1 was just that one-time initialization. So after you do 4 of the counter plus plus, you go back to 2, ask the question, is counter less than or equal to 10? If that's true, you go do the loop body in 3, and then you come up and you increment the counter in 4 up there. And so we stay in this 2, 3, 4 dance until the condition under the number 2 there is false. And that's when we break out of the loop and we continue down with our code. So the syntax of the for loop looks like this. So we do some initialization, we have a condition that asks a question, and then we have an increment. And the increment can be, again, a plus plus, or, you know, we can change the variable by any amount that we want. It could be adding 2, it could be dividing, but there's some change to the variable. It could be a decrement. So increment is sort of a generic word for just changing the variable in some way. So the same as a condition or an if statement and a while loop, if you have multiple statements inside the for loop, you need the curly braces. If you have only one statement, you don't have to have them. So here's that example again with the initialization, condition, loop body, and increment or decrement, and it's with the loop vocabulary. Where do I start is the initialization, where do I stop my loop is the condition, and what am I changing, what am I repeating have to do with the loop body and that incrementation piece. And again, we do 1, we ask the question at 2. If it's true, we do 3, and then we do 4, and then we stay in that 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4 dance. So here is some ideas for some for loop practice. For loops you could just go write. You could write a program to do. Don't pay attention to the handout. That's something else. But so you can come back to this for some practice. Another, I put a program up on Google Classroom. It looks just like the while loop. It'll look just like the while loop practice because it is identical. But for this, use for loops to do all these. And just to show you some different method types. So all of these are still void methods, just like they were in the while loop program. But these last two I've made non-void methods, so they're going to return the value this time. So rather than calling this method and having it doing the display, we're going to call this method and it's going to return this value, and then we're going to display it here in main. So just to get used to different types of methods. And you will see that when you go down to those, that they return an int rather than being a void method. So that is some good practice, as well as going to CS Awesome and going to the for loop section and working on, probably you could start with turtle loops and the programming challenge and then do some of the summary. So get started. No better way to get on top of it than to just keep practicing. So happy coding.